21 degrees and sunny, just the way I always wanted. Tall, but I got it.
If you're new here, my name is Selena. I'm a content creator and an economist working for the federal government. I share my life here on YouTube, life in my 20s, trying to find a balance. I recently shared my first house hunting video, and this is part 2. So I hope that you're all excited for this video, as excited as I am to share it. If you are, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe down below because it really helps support my channel. As exciting as this process is, I just want to give a disclaimer that it's very stressful and it's not easy whatsoever. I also want to make a disclaimer that even though I'm kind of sharing these videos and it might seem like not a lot of time goes into it because these videos aren't super long, keep in mind that you're only seeing like this much of the process that I'm showing you all, but there's so much that goes on behind the scenes, and I definitely plan on doing like a first-time homebuyer Q&A video in the future. If you would like to see that, or if you have any questions about the process now, make sure to leave a comment down below and I will get back to them as you ask them, or I might save some of those questions for the Q&A because I think that would be really helpful. And I also kind of want to make a video about like the entire home buying process once we get to that point, because even now that I still haven't like bought a house or moved into a house, so much has happened. I've learned so much that I had no idea goes into this entire process, and I truly feel like you don't fully get it until you actually go through the process. So on day 6, we went and checked out house number 7. This was in a whole entirely new neighborhood that I had never been in before. It's a new build, new construction neighborhood, and it's so weird to see this neighborhood because I grew up like driving past this area, and it was all just back roads, like agricultural lands, like farms, and now there's entire communities built here, which is just wild. And that just shows me that Oregon and my hometown, this entire area, you know, near the Portland, Oregon metro area is growing, it's thriving. It was mind-blowing. And it was really an affirmation to me that I feel like I really cannot make a wrong choice on which house I choose, because it's just gonna continue increasing in value over time as more things are built. This first house that I checked out was a townhome. Like I said in the last video, I'm definitely open to a townhouse because it is my first house. It's not gonna be like my forever home. If anything, I would be completely open to renting it out like 5 years from now or whenever I might need to. This was a really nice little townhome. There was a lot of windows. I didn't love like the colors of the kitchen. I would really prefer to have an all-white kitchen. Oregon is very gloomy, so the more white that you can have in your house, the better, because trust me, you're gonna need it during the winter when all you see is just blue and gray outside. There's no rays of sunshine, so it was super important for me to get as many windows as I could in the house and have as much white as I can. I can always add color in with furniture or decor. I actually prefer a blank slate because then I can switch it up each season if I want. So a townhome was not at the top of my list, but I did want to check them out anyway because I didn't want to make a decision without looking. But just going into this, I wasn't super excited just because I would have neighbors on both sides. The really big plus about this house was the fact that it had a 2-car garage as well as a 2-car driveway. This is the only house in this entire series that offers that, which is just wild to me. It's a contender. I really loved the shower. I loved the walk-in. There's so much light in there. It's beautiful. There were a lot of windows in the bedrooms, but the downsides to this townhome was just how tiny the upstairs felt. The laundry room was really small. The bedrooms were really tiny. It was actually pretty shocking to see how tiny the bedrooms were. Moving on to house number 8. This was another townhome in that same neighborhood, going for $545,000. Just wild to me, but anyway, we will continue trucking along. Again, it's because of the features and upgrades that they had already implemented. I liked how many windows there were. I loved how tall the windows were. The patio section, even though it looks really tiny here, and it is really tiny, was actually a lot bigger than some of the other patios that I've seen in some of the other new build homes, which probably seems like preposterous to some of you, but that is just the reality of buying a house in a hot market. The kitchen was beautiful. It just felt a little small. The It was nice that there's a pantry, but the pantry was also pretty small. So again, I wasn't in love with this just because for this price range, like I could get a single family home in another neighborhood. Also, it's in an up and coming neighborhood, so it's not like this place is surrounded by things to do, at least that I knew of at this point in the process. But I will say that I think the price does kind of match up with the quality, because this townhome and these townhomes that were by this builder were honestly really well made, and they had really nice fixtures and finishes. I just could not deal with the very small size. Like when I was walking through the top floor, it just felt so cramped. And I mean, I come from a plus size family, so I'm just imagining like having my mom over, my cousins or my aunts over, and there just being no room for people to even walk around. Not one of my top picks, but I think it would be a great pick for someone who wants to buy a first home, just maybe not for me. House number 9 was another townhome, a different floor plan. Again, I wanted to see all of my options. Even though I wasn't as excited about these ones, I still wanted to see them, because sometimes when you see something in person, it makes you feel different and it just feels right. So this kitchen, oh my gosh, y'all, this kitchen, I literally fell in love with this kitchen. Like it had, instead of white countertops or instead of white cabinets, it had like these beige cabinets. So beautiful. I love the color. The only thing it was missing is that I wish it had more windows. So it was kind of like the previous house had all the windows, but I didn't like the color of the cabinets. This house had the perfect kitchen cabinets and color scheme, but it didn't have the windows because it had neighbors on both sides. So it just felt like, man, I can't win. And this one was a little cheaper at $518,000 for the reason that it doesn't have all the windows. But I truly think that having more windows than not was a huge priority and is a huge priority for me during this process. Knowing that I'm gonna live in Oregon, knowing that it rains here a lot, there's a ton of gloomy days here. So I just wanna be as prepared as possible, so. After that, my realtor actually took me to this little town center that was only like a 7 to 8 minute drive. It's really nice actually. So from those new townhomes that we just viewed. Yeah, this is so cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know this was here.
Yeah. And then across the street that way is Big Al's.
Oh, Big Al's.
And
oh, I've been there.
Yeah, Big Al's. And then there's the crumble cookies and just another strip of like a little tea place.
House number 10 was going for $540,000. I was really excited about this house because it was like a single family house. Also brand new. It was built this year or last year. And I just thought it was so cute. But then when I actually arrived there, I saw that there was no street parking. There was no easy access to get to the house. To even find the house, we had to like drive through a parking lot for another apartment complex. There was no through traffic or street access. So that house was such an immediate no that I didn't even take the tour. I drove up and there was nowhere to park and I just said no. So then the next day, we started up again. This house was in this neighborhood that I was in love with, and I absolutely thought that I was gonna buy a house in this neighborhood. Like if I were buying a year ago, I probably would have bought in this neighborhood because everything is not only brand new, but they have like a town center coming, they have a new urgent care center, a new gym, like they have everything in walking distance and close proximity. The thing is, prices have skyrocketed like $70,000 from what they were just a year ago because of how much they've built and how much they've added to this community. So at this point, a lot of the houses that I really liked were kind of out of my price range. So for example, house number 11 was a dream location, but out of my budget at $604,000 for an 1,800 square feet home, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath. Beautiful. As you walk in, you can see this is a model home. So we were just meeting the real estate agent there, and then we were gonna drive to another neighborhood, but we just had to take a look because I love this neighborhood, and this is kind of like a little dream home in a sense. You know, who knows, in 5 years I might sell my first house and move to this neighborhood. but I definitely didn't want to try to push my budget with my first house. I would just rather be under budget or like not above my budget, you know what I mean? And yes, for this price, you still don't get a yard, but that's also because in this neighborhood specifically, like it's a master plan, it's beautiful. There's gonna be like over 70 or 90 acres of community gardens and parks and walking trails and running trails, outdoor kitchens, like everything you could possibly need. And so that allows them to kind of sell you these houses at a higher price without any yard or outdoor space. And yeah, it's a really popular community. If you're from Oregon, you probably know what I'm talking about. In a completely other neighborhood, not exactly a dream location, but I will say they do offer me the opportunity to have like a dream first house, a spacious house, similar to the house that I really liked in that other place with where it was my dream location, except for like $70,000 to $100,000 less. Plus the HOA is half the price. So it was kind of a no-brainer that I should look at this neighborhood more seriously than I should the last neighborhood, especially for a first home, and especially minding the fact that I can see how much building and development is happening. And so this neighborhood is kind of like in the middle of nowhere. It's in the Portland metro area and it's close to a highway, which is really nice. I'll have easy access, and actually I will be able to get everywhere so much faster than I would from my dream location. We'll get into that later. I loved this floor plan, first of all, let me say. I love that there were so many windows. Yes, you're in close proximity to your neighbors. That's something that I just kind of came to the conclusion that I would be okay with for my first home. If you think about it, if I didn't buy a house, I would be living in an apartment and be surrounded by neighbors at all times and have zero privacy. So having my own house where at least I don't have to share the walls, I'll have a fence between me and my neighbors. I honestly think it's such an upgrade and totally worth it. And honestly, a lot of people don't want to pay. Like I know I specifically was okay with not having a backyard because I don't want to think about maintenance. I don't want extra work on top of already having to maintain a much bigger space. And even families nowadays are opting for homes like this. So anyway, please don't leave any comments about how you would hate to have to look into your neighbor's windows, because that's okay. I mean, if that's how you feel about it for you, then that's your decision. But for me personally, I'm okay with it. I think it's still an upgrade from living in an apartment. I would have my own space. And to me, it's actually more important to have more square footage indoors than outdoors, because in Oregon, if you live here, like there's so many fun, free things to do. Mountains, rivers, trails, lakes, that you really don't need to have a backyard, in my opinion, for a first home. Again, for a dream home, of course, I would love to have a backyard, but for my first home, I think I should be okay with just having a little side yard, maybe making a little patio out of it. Anyway, that was my mindset going into this. That's why in this video, I'm like looking at a lot more new build homes. This home specifically had a really nice 2-car garage, a little extra room on the side as well, had so many windows, it was so bright. I also loved the upstairs. There's like a loft area upstairs with, again, a lot of light, a lot of windows. House number 14 was $542,000, a little bit more expensive, but it was also bigger. It was over 2,000 square feet. The only thing is, while this house also had a lot of windows, the windows were really tiny, which I just didn't love. The downstairs felt really spacious. There was a loft upstairs, but the bedrooms, it just really felt like the bedrooms were really tiny. Like they just wanted to say that this house had 4 bedrooms, I guess. That's how it felt. I also didn't really love the floor plan of the master bathroom. It felt kind of awkward to me. The bath was really tiny. At that point, I would just rather not have the bath in the master bathroom, because personally I don't take baths very often, like maybe once every 3 or 4 months. They're just not super comfy to me. I love the feeling of like hot water, but I find that when I lay and take a bath, the water doesn't stay hot that long. So anyway. This was one of the like more affordable single family homes. I just didn't love the layout. It felt a little bit awkward to me. I didn't love like the little tiny windows in the living room. It just wasn't my favorite. I don't know how to explain it. It's just when you see a house in person, sometimes it just doesn't feel right, if that makes sense. And especially when we went upstairs, the bedrooms were really small. The hallways felt really tight. The bathroom felt awkward. Like there was this little bathtub with like 2 areas on the side, which I literally asked the realtor, I'm like, is this gonna be like benches or what is this for? She's like, oh, you know, just extra storage, like you can put towels there or something. And I was like, no, this is such wasted space in my opinion. Like instead of having that weird sitting area, like they could have just made the bathtub bigger, which honestly would have been a selling point for me. But that bathtub was, I don't even know if you can call it a bathtub. It was very, very short. So yeah. House number 15 was going for $536,400. It was a 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 1,800 square feet. Honestly, really nice house. Like I can't complain. I really think any of these houses would have been really nice, but the floor plan was just a little bit weird. I didn't really love the brown cabinets. Like I said, I would rather have white on white and just add in color with like flowers and decor or whatever. So it just wasn't my vibe. And if I'm gonna be paying this much money for a house, I feel like at the bare minimum, it should have a lot of light, a nice big island, a floor plan that I like. Those were like my main asks for my first home, because a lot of things I was willing to compromise on, like not having a big backyard. I think at this point in my house hunting journey, I had pretty much decided I did not want to live in a townhome because listen to me. As you saw, some of these townhomes, regardless of the neighborhood, were going for like almost $550,000. The square footage was smaller. You shared 1 to 2 walls with someone else. And in addition to that, your HOA fee was like $175 or above. So then I came to look at this neighborhood with the single family homes, and these single family homes are honestly like dream first homes. I feel so lucky and blessed that I can even look at these or even consider these homes, because I wouldn't have to share a wall with any neighbors. Yes, I would be close to my neighbors, but I feel like I'm okay with that. I even interviewed some of the people in these neighborhoods just to make sure that the builders were credible, because I didn't want to consider houses in a neighborhood where the reviews were kind of on and off. The reviews were kind of murky, right? Because usually people don't leave reviews if they had a good experience. So after interviewing the neighbors, people said they loved living there, that they had an overall good experience with the builders. So these single family homes were going for the same or less than other townhomes that were smaller, and the HOA fees on these single family homes is literally half the price. So at the end of the day, even if I bought a more expensive single family home in this neighborhood, my monthly mortgage payment would be less than buying a townhome in my dream location at the other place. And knowing that I'm just like a homebody, I don't even leave my apartment or my house that often, like unless I have a plan, something to do. Also knowing that in Oregon it rains a lot, so realistically I'm not gonna want to walk a lot during those rainy days, like at least not a 20 minute walk to the gym or to the grocery store. Knowing me, when it's raining, I would rather drive or Uber or whatever. So those were all things that I was taking into consideration. If I lived in like California or somewhere where it's sunny year round, very little rainy days, I think having a more walkable community would have been a much bigger selling point. But personally for me, I've lived in Oregon like the majority of my life, and it's not like that. Like, I love it here, but I wasn't gonna play myself. This one had the same floor plan as house number 12. It just faced a different direction. Like the floor plan was flipped, so that's why I didn't take a ton of clips. And this one was a lot less done, so you kind of have to use your imagination. So afterwards, the real estate agent took us to the model home just to show us what the floors will end up looking like and what the cabinets and countertops would end up looking like, because this house would actually have the white on white that I'm looking for. After that, we went to another neighborhood, back to that neighborhood that is like my dream neighborhood, because I just could not let go of this neighborhood for the life of me, because I had my heart set on this neighborhood for the longest time. So house number 17 was again a townhome selling for $545K. Beautiful, lots of light, felt pretty small, as you'll see is just common with all of these townhomes. And honestly, once I went upstairs, it was just an immediate like no from me. The only part that I liked was the master bedroom was so big, the master bathroom was beautiful, the walk-in closet was really nice, but then that was about it. Like the laundry room or closet was just so small, so cramped. The hallways were so small. The 2 extra bedrooms honestly felt like they should have just been made into one bigger bedroom because it was so tiny. And yeah, It did not make sense to me, no matter how nice the neighborhood, to pay $20K more for a townhome plus almost $200, actually more than $200 more per month for the HOA when I could get a single family home for less. So this was kind of like the last townhome that I took a look at, because essentially the guy was trying to sell it to me and he showed me this location or this plot of land where they were going to begin construction, and he told me I would be able to customize my entire process and it would take like 6 months for my house to be built, and it would still cost around $550K depending on upgrades and all of that. Those were all of the homes that I decided to tour. I also looked at a ton of homes just online, virtually, on a Redfin, Zillow, going to open houses, and just even months before this, just doing all my own research, I saw homes that way. But these were like the 18 homes that I really considered during this whole process since I got pre-approved. It was really overwhelming. It was really exciting. And after seeing so many homes and seeing just how hot the market was, I did end up deciding to go with a new build home. And I may or may not have chosen a house, so I'm not going to tell you guys like which house or anything in this video, because I wanted to ask you all in the comments to let me know if you would rather see the process like in real time. Like, would you want to see how the house construction is progressing kind of in real time, or would you rather I wait the few months until the house is fully built before I share any of that progress with you and kind of share the overall process and how it happened? Because if I do share things with y'all in real time, you're gonna get updates week to week, but you're also gonna have to like wait every week for a new update. Whereas if I wait a few months to show you guys my new house, you'll get to see everything at once. So yeah, comment down below, let me know what you would prefer. I'll also make a poll on my Instagram, so make sure to follow me on there so you can vote. But I'm so excited because officially I am going to be a homeowner in the next few months once it all goes through, you know, God willing and everything, making sure, obviously counting on everything going through. But I did choose a home. I did buy a house. It's a single family home residence, and I'm really excited to share it with you all. It had all of the main things that I was looking for, and I'm overall really excited. I'm really nervous and very stressed, I'm not gonna lie, but I'm really excited to share this with you all. And I just want to say thank you all so much for supporting me, for supporting my channel, for watching my videos, sharing my videos, liking, commenting, subscribing. Like, all these things support me and help me continue to grow so that I can continue to make more content and share my life with you all. And it's just so freaking exciting, and I wouldn't even be here if it weren't for your support. So thank you. I love you all so much, and I can't wait to show you all my freaking house. That is crazy. Like, this is so wild. I'm still processing. But with all that said, make sure to comment down below. But I love you all so much. I hope that you all enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And with all that said, I will see you all in the next video.